I am Rajendra Kerkar from Goa, and I will be presenting the history and culture of Jammu and Kashmir. When we look at the Jammu and Kashmir, it is one of the beautiful area which India is inheriting. And if you look at the Jammu and Kashmir, eternal beauty of Himalayan mountain ranges. The river Jhelum is the lifeline of the Kashmir, and the name Kashmir, which is very popular in India, is originated from the sage Kashyap. So it was sage Kashyap who was responsible for bringing down the water of the huge lake by making the channel, and that is why he was responsible for providing irrigation facilities to the major areas of the Kashmir. Kash mean the channel and Mir mean the mountain. So from the mountain, the Karakoram, Pir Panjal, all these are the mountain ranges, whereas the Jhelum river originates in Pir Panjal and then it comes down and you can see very beautiful area. Dr. Francois Bernier, the well-known historian, when he described Kashmir, he says that it is unsurpassing, beautiful region, and he was so mesmerized that he used beautiful word to describe Kashmir. Rabindranath Tagore, the well-known poet of India, while describing India, he says, "He more chitta punya tirtha jagore dhire, ye bharater mahamanaver sagar tere." And really, India is the cradle of civilization. If you look at the Kashmir, you can see different tribes, different communities were responsible for enriching the civilization of Kashmir. And agriculture, which was once upon a time the backbone of the Kashmir, even today, the people of Jammu Kashmir doing agriculture, and they are the people who eat rice. They cultivate millet, jawar, bajra, and different types of the pulses. The land is blessed by enchanting environment. And here one can see the beauty of the Kashmir. And that is why it is very important for all of us to know the history and culture of this land. Kashmir, once upon a time, was the area covering almost 2,22,236 square kilometers. However, today, you can see the major portion of the Kashmir has been occupied by Pakistan, and almost more than 78,000 square kilometers of the area is under the China. The Baltic region, for example, is under China. The Dardistan, for example, is in the Pak-occupied Kashmir. So when we say Jammu and Kashmir, it was one of the biggest state of India. Today, it is divided into two union territories. Last year, the decision has been taken in the month of the August, and amendment was done to the 370 article, and Jammu and Kashmir has been divided into two union territory. One became Jammu and Kashmir, and second region became the Ladakh. So these are the two regions, though divided once upon a time, it was having very beautiful culture. The Ladakh, for example, is connected to Turkestan, Tibet, and going for the Central Asia, this Ladakh was very important, and that is why it was occupying economically important place. And today you can see the Khardunga Pass, the highest motorable road of the world is in the Ladakh. So this region is one of the beautiful region of India, and one can see the chain of the mountain, one can see the springs of Anantnag, the Baramulla, the Achabal. All these springs are enhancing the beauty of the region. So this land is very important for India, and the neighboring state also want this region because this is one of the fertile region, and since the ages the region was attraction for the people from various part of the world. For example, when Babur came to this region, he was also fascinated by the Kashmir. So while describing Kashmir, he says that Kash is the name of the tribe that was residing in this region. So there are different theories. However, the most accepted theory is of the Kashyap Muni. So he was responsible for establishing civilization. The people from various part of India, especially from the Rajasthan, Punjab, and other part of India, migrated to Jammu and Kashmir, and they were responsible for establishing the civilization. Today, you can see the beautiful mountains are there, and Himalayas glory, for example, the Nanga Parbat, Karakoram, the Austin mountains, all beauty one can see in this region. And people are living in tune with the nature. On the day of the full moon of Shravan, large number of the people used to flock to the Yatra of Amarnath. Every year on the day of Naradi Purnima is the known for the Amarnath Yatra. So Amarnath is the cave where one can see the beauty of the nature. The Salgamite, Sectite, the limestone caves are a wonder of the nature. And here every year in Shravan, devotees goes there to see the sacred pigeon. So these sacred pigeons are considered as the representation of the god, and Amarnath is the symbolic representation of the Shivalinga. He is the Lord Shiva, and that is why since the ages people are visiting this area, and Amarnath is one of the important sacred place which is known not only to India but to the people all over the world. So people are going here to enjoy the beauty of the nature. The civilization flourished in Kashmir, and this is not the new phenomena. Since the Neolithic period, more than almost 5,000 years, the Neolithic settlement was there in Burzahum. So this is Burzahum settlement, and you can see the very fine pottery was developed. The textile industry, which is one of the attraction for the people all over the world to the Kashmir, and here the evidences were found in the Burzahum prehistoric site about the development of the textile industry. The stones and tools implements which were found in this area indicate that the Neolithic settlement was there. People were aware about the agriculture, people were aware about the fire, and this Burzahum site is protected, and it tells us the history and heritage of the land of the Kashmir. So beauty of the Kashmir one can see not only in the mountains and springs and lakes, but you can visit the prehistoric settlement which tells us about the richness of the prehistoric people here. These are the two shrines which tells us that Kashmir was the land of the god and goddesses. The people from various parts of India had the attraction toward the Kashmir. And this is the ruins of the Avantipura temple. The temple was built by the king in the memory of the Shiva and of the Vishnu. And the second shrine is of the Martanda temple. The Martand is the form of the sun god. The sun god was always attraction for human being, and our day starts with the sun. So India has the tradition of the sun temple. The Konark temple is world famous. In the same way, the Kashmir was known for the Sun Temple, and this Sun Temple was known as a Martanda, and Mutton was famous for the Martanda Temple. And this temple was built in such a way that light of the sun falls on it, and one can enjoy the beauty. The great Kushan ruler, Kanishka, so he laid the foundation for the city of the Kanishkapur, which is today known as Kanispur. So this Kanishka was a great ruler. He issued the coins, and the fourth Buddhist council was organized by him. And Kashmir during olden time was a center of the Buddhist learning. So the Buddhism went to the Central Asia from this area. Kanishka was a great ruler, and he was ruling. Actually, he was from outside India. However, he came to India. He established the rule. So various development as far as the architecture, art, and cultural facets were concerned, he was responsible. So Vaishnav Devi, the one of the form of the goddess Shakti, is worshipped in Jammu. So from Jammu, the few kilometers away is the temple of Vaishnav Devi, and people right from Kanyakumari to various part of India visit this temple to witness the goddess, the form of the Shakti. And today it has become one of the pilgrimage centers, and development has taken in a very eco-sensitive area. The people visit this Vaishnavi Devi temple, and it is very known all over India. So it is the glory of the Kashmir. The Jwala Devi, for example, in India, we have the natural phenomena worshipped by the people. They believe in the wonder of the nature. So this Jwala Devi, the shrine of the Jwala Devi, which was actually on the site of the volcano, eruption of the volcano. Today, one can see the form of the goddess Shakti is worshipped as a Jwala Devi, and this Jwala Devi is an attraction there. So these are the two shrines. One is of the Shankaracharya shrine, so it is very beautiful, and the second one is the Mamleshwar temple dedicated to Lord Shiva, and it was Mihirkul, the Huna ruler, was responsible. He accepted Hinduism and then built the temple of Mamleshwar in Pahalgam area. So both these tells us about the rich history and heritage of the land of the Kashmir. So as far as Kashmir is concerned, the river Jhelum plays very important role. Just as in Punjab, we have Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Satluj, and Beas. The five rivers are playing important role. In Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir, we have this Vitasta. The Vitasta is the name given for the Jhelum river. And this is almost 725 kilometer long river that originated in Pir Panjal. And this river is considered as sacred and worshipped by the people, and today the pilgrimage center developed in this area, and you can see the beauty of the nature adore this region. So the river plays important role as far as the development of the agriculture is concerned, and their economy is concerned. So this is the Jama Masjid, the well-known mosque of the Jammu and Kashmir. And here you can see the confluence of the Hindu architecture, Buddhist architecture, and the Islamic architecture. So this was first built during the period of the Sikandar, who was ruling over Kashmir. And the foundation of this mosque was put in the year 1398, and in 1402, once again it was given the new look, and Jainuddin Abedin was responsible for giving a new look to this mosque. This is the mosque in near to Srinagar, and it attracts the large number of the devotees to this area. So this is the beauty of the religion and culture of the Kashmir. This is Jainuddin Abedin, who is known as the Akbar of the Kashmir. He followed the rule of the tolerance, and his father demolished the temple, the shrines of the Hindus, the Buddhist shrines were destroyed. However, Jainuddin Abedin restored the Hindu temple. He was the ruler who gave patronage to the Kashmiri Pandits. So during the tenure of his father, the Pandit of the Kashmir who fled away, they came back and they were given opportunity, and their talent and skills was given patronage. So this is the term related to the Jainuddin Abedin. So Jainuddin Abedin was a great ruler, and one can find his fame, which has been narrated by the poet in Jain Charitra. So Jain Charitra is a book which gives the information about the ruler. He was the person who patronized the Persian language, and also the Kashmiri language was given patronage by him. So his rule was a rule wherein the artists, the writers, and thinkers were given encouragement. This is the Dargah of Charare Sharif. So this Charare Sharif is dedicated to the Nuruddin, Sheikh Nuruddin, the well-known patron saint of the Kashmir. So he is the Sufi saint, and Sufism was brought to in Kashmir by Bulbul Shah, who came from the neighboring states. You know that Samarkand, Tibet, all these are the areas which are nearby to the Kashmir, and Charare Sharif is the dargah dedicated to Nuruddin, and he was responsible for bridging the gap between Hindus and Muslims. Both the Hindus as well as Muslims have the faith in the Charare Sharif, and dargah of the Nuruddin attract large number of the crowd, and it is the beauty of India's tradition. So just as we have Muhammad Iqbal, who says that Sare Jahan se acha Hindustan hamara. And there is one more poem, Chisti ne jis jami mein paigam sunaya, Nanak ne jis chaman mein Vedat ka geet gaya, Tatriyon ne dashte Arab chudaya, Mera watan wahi hai, mera watan wahi hai. So Charare Sharif Dargah is the shrine which is telling us about the religious harmony. And this saint was responsible for promoting Sufism, and he is also called as a Nanda Rishi by the Kashmiri people. So he is the first saint who is given the title of Rishi, sage. So he is worshipped, he is respected by both the Hindus as well as the Muslim community. So Lal Deng or Laleshwari was another important saint of the Kashmir. She was born in the Brahmin caste. However, she propounded the theory of uniting people together and living in the harmony. So her philosophy was of the love. Her philosophy was of the truth. Wherever she went, she always propagated the non-violence. She propagated the love, and the Indian philosophy was emphasized by her. So this is one of the specimen of the Sharda script, and the Kashmiri language was one of the important language which was responsible for bringing the history and heritage. However, it is respected by all, by the Hindu, Muslim, and the Sikh. So Sikh religion gained importance in Kashmir because in 1819, Maharaja Ranjit Singh, almost for more than a quarter century, was ruling over Kashmir. And that is why Sikhism reached to the zenith in this region. And Maharaja Ranjit Singh, he is one of the Sardar belonging to the Dongara Rajput community. he joined the hand with the British, and that is why Kashmir uh, became the part of the British Empire. Maharaja Gulab Singh, belonging to the Dongra Rajput community, became the ruler of the Kashmir. So Maharaja Hari Singh was belonging to the Maharaja Gulab Singh family. So this is the beauty of the Kashmir. The Kashmir is known all over the world for the spring or the lake, and a huge quantity of the fresh water is the wealth of the Kashmir. The Kashmir is known for the mineral wealth. The gold is there, sapphire is there, the copper is there. So different types of the mineral ores are there in Kashmir. And there are some region like the Chashme Shahi. This is the Chashme Shahi. The Jharbat mountain is there from where the springs are originating. And this crystal clear water comes down and it became the tourist attraction. So Chashme Shahi studied with the chain of the mountain, lush greenery, and the gardens, lakes, springs. All this is the glory of the Kashmir. And many places in Kashmir are named after Nag, the cobra. You know that in Tamil Nadu, the cobra plays very important role. We have Subramanyam cult in Kashmir. The Subramanyam is always represented in the form of the cobra. So in the same way, in Kashmir also, if you read the Nilamat Quran, the earliest historical records, books which tells us the history of the Kashmir, the Nilmat Quran tells us about how the Nagas were important in the Kashmir. And if you read the writing of Abul Fajl says that almost 700 sculptures of the cobra he found in the Kashmir. So Kashmir was an important place where the Naga cult was there, and that is why we have Kaushal Nag, Ananta Nag. All the places are named after Nag. So Ananta Nag, Vasuki Nag. So all these are the cobras were given protection in the Kashmir. So Kashmir is the land of the god and goddesses as well as of the snakes. So in India, right from the Indus Valley civilization, we have the worship of the cobra. So this is the first building you can see belonging to the Aurangzeb brother Darashukha. So it is a Vedashala built by Darashukha. He was a great scholar. He was responsible for translating many Hindu books, Sanskrit books into Persian language. He was a great scholar, and it is Shalimar Garden. Kashmir is known for the garden, and we have the Jahangir, Noor Jahan, who gave patronage gardens. So the beauty of the Kashmir is in the this Gulmarg, Sonmarg, and Nishan, Shalimar. All these are gardens world famous. So hundreds of gardens were built. For example, if you visit any place in Kashmir, they are characterized by the garden. And this is the Ladakh. Today it is given the independent status of union territory. So Khardunga law that is passed, the highest motorable road takes you to the Ladakh, and Ladakh is a snow-capped Himalayan mountain, and it is called as a cold desert. So India, you know, we have the varied climatic condition, environmental glimpses, and this is the Nubra Valley. So inside the Himalaya, you will find the tribal people are residing. So in the Nubra Valley, the tribal communities are performing dance, and these are the instruments used by the tribal people in the Ladakh. So Ladakh was earlier the part of the Kashmir. Today it is given the status of separate union. A beautiful woman is the gift of Kashmir to India. And there are many scholars, writers, historians who had written abound on the Kashmiri woman. So they are most beautiful, and one can see how their headgear, their dress, peran, and you can see how they are expert in various form of art and crafts. So these are the Gujjar communities. Gujjar and Gaddi are the pastoral community who rear cattle, goats, sheep. So these are expert in sheep rearing, goat rearing, and Gujjar originally from the Rajasthan. They are there in Kashmir, and their language, which has a maximum word from the Rajasthani language, uh, became integrated in the Kashmir. So this is today Pangong Lake became disputed area. So this is Pangong Lake, which is also in the Ladakh region, and here you can see the mingling of the two rivers, the Indus River and one more river joined together, and one can see the beautiful water is flowing. So this is the beauty of the Kashmir. And Chenar tree is the identity of the Kashmir. And today you can see the Chenar considered as a sacred tree. There are rules and regulations in Kashmir that no one should cut the chenar tree, and chenar has a medicinal value, wood has an economic value, and this is the beauty of the Kashmir and chenar, and we have deodar, we have fir, and different types of the trees are there in Kashmir. So Kashmir forest is full with different types of the trees that are decorating their forest. So this is Dal Lake, the world famous Dal Lake, and these are the houseboats. There are shikaras, and Ular is the largest freshwater lake in India, and Dal is an attraction for the tourists, not only from India, but various part of the world. The tourists are coming in large number in the Dal, and Dal has a chain of the garden once upon a time built, and that is why one can see this beautiful lake was well protected once by the Kashmiri people. So today also one can enjoy the glimpses of this lake. The Kashmiri women, for example, they perform different types of the dances. Just like in India, we enjoy the different form of the dances. In the same way, we have the Kashmiri women, when the crop is ready for the harvest, they perform the dances. So in India, we have the tradition of the harvest dances, and these are the dances which showcases their cultural identity. So Kashmir is known for dances, folk song, folk culture is also integral part of the Kashmir. So woolen carpet, embroidery, the Kashmiri Kashida is world famous, and Kashmiri people are very skillful because the ruler like Jainuddin Abedin from Samarkand, from Khorasan, um, he got inspiration, and the artists, the artisan and craftsmen were given encouragement and patronage, and that is why Kashmiri shawl, the Pashtun shawl, for example, is world famous, and people are attracted toward this heritage of the Kashmir. The Kashmiri kofta, for example, Kashmiri love vegetarian food as well as non-vegetarian food. However, Kashmiri kofta is a very known non-vegetarian diet. They love the lamb meat, and they prepare different types of the food items. And Kashmiri kawa, the famous tea with the different ingredient of the spices, and without milk they are preparing the tea. They love to drink more and more tea because in Kashmir the climate is very chilling, cold. So in order to survive, there is need of the this type of the drink. So kawa give them encouragement. So Kashmir, as I have told you, is a land where you can see the beautiful culture, land where you can see the ecology and environment once upon a time was protected, and that is why if we want to protect the glory of Kashmir, then there is need of protecting Himalaya. The Himalaya is the chain of the mountain that brings a huge quantity of water to Kashmir, And wherever water is there, you can see the culture will always prosper, flourish, and that is why culture, civilization prospered in Kashmir. And if we want to keep the glory of Kashmir, then there is need for all of us to protect the nature environment of the Kashmir. So in 1954, Kashmir became the part of Indian territory. The Raja Hari Singh ceded the Kashmir to India, and he got the opportunity to become the first Sadr-e Riyasat of the Kashmir. However, in 2019, the government of India took the decision of dividing Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories. So one can see the beautiful history, culture of the Kashmir, and in order to enrich, in order to know the history of India, the sociology of India, studying Jammu and Kashmir is very important. This is the integral part of India, and as Indian, we have to love that we are the son and daughter of this beautiful land, which starts from Jammu Kashmir till Kanyakumari. You can enjoy the vivid culture of India. So unity in diversity is the cultural facet of India.